And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. President Trump announced in a post yesterday on Truth Social that the U.S. military launched strikes on an Iranian cargo ship that attempted to breach its naval blockade and added, quote, "We have full custody of the ship and are seeing what's on board. And it's the first time he's ever been excited about having full custody." President Trump signed an executive order over the weekend to expedite medical research into psychedelic drugs that could be used to treat depression. When? Yelled Mets fans. During the signing ceremony over the weekend for an executive order that will loosen restrictions on psychedelic drugs, President Trump said, quote, "Can I have some, please? Man, can you imagine Trump on an ayahuasca retreat? You know, they're saying I'm the most silent person of anyone on this silent retreat. Nobody is greater at being alone with their thoughts than Donald Trump." While speaking at a Turning Point USA rally on Friday, President Trump said that he has, quote, "never seen so many young people in my life." Oh, sure, but will he say the same thing under oath? President Trump threatened in a post yesterday on Truth Social to strike bridges and power plants in Iran if the country's leaders do not sign a deal, and added, quote, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." What? When were you Mr. Nice Guy? I think I've only ever seen you be nice to one person. During an executive order signing ceremony over the weekend, President Trump called Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., quote, "somewhat outside the box." No, dude, your aunt in Portland is somewhat outside the box. RFK Jr. is like if Willy Wonka found Reddit. During a rally on Friday in Phoenix, President Trump said that he recently directed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to release government files on UFOs and added, quote, "the first releases will begin very soon." Wait, they haven't been already? You're telling me this is just a guy? The Justice Department last week charged the organizer of the bar crawl SantaCon for allegedly stealing nearly $3 million that was collected for charity. Even worse, he organized SantaCon. A humanoid robot won a half marathon yesterday in Beijing with a time nearly 7 minutes faster than the human world record. Best of all, it didn't have to catch its breath before it could start telling people it ran a marathon. Wanna hear something cool? I hate to brag, but do you want to hear something cool I did? Are you wondering why I'm wearing a tinfoil cape? A new Grateful Dead app launched last week called Play Dead. It's the first ever app that can be installed on a landline. And finally, NPR announced last week it has received the largest donation from a living donor in the network's history, totaling $80 million, and you would not believe the tote bag she got. FBI Director Kash Patel filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit yesterday against The Atlantic magazine over an article alleging that Patel has abused alcohol. Said Patel this morning, "Oh man, I did?" That's right, Kash Patel filed a $250 million lawsuit against The Atlantic magazine over an article alleging that Patel has abused alcohol. Though you'd have to be pretty drunk to think a print magazine can afford $250 million. The U.S. and Iran are reportedly negotiating over a 3-page plan to end the war. Specifically, Trump's trying to negotiate them down to 1 page. No way I'm reading 3 pages. In a new interview, President Trump said that he will reach a peace deal with Iran and added, quote, "it will happen one way or another, the nice way or the hard way." The nice way or the hard way, that's not how you reach a peace deal. That's something you yell during a bank robbery. President Trump criticized Spain's economy in a post over the weekend on Truth Social and said that the country is, quote, "sad to watch," adding they can't even afford full-sized entrees. A new Grateful Dead app launched last week, which features high-quality recordings of more than 400 full live shows and better than CD quality. Said Dead fans, "Wow, it sounds even better than I don't remember." In honor of Star Wars Day, the dairy brand True Moo is offering a vanilla-flavored blue milk that has 8 grams of protein per serving. Because if someone hands you a glass of blue milk, the first question you'll have is, how much protein is in it? A humanoid robot won a half marathon on Sunday in Beijing with a time nearly 7 minutes faster than the human world record. And if you think that's impressive, some other dude smoked them all by 45 minutes with a machine he calls a Nissan Altima. The food company Purdue Farms announced last week it will offer so-called 6-7 chicken nuggets, even though everybody who thought 6-7 was funny is now too old for chicken nuggets. A 101-year-old New Zealand man was recently named the world's oldest croquet player. Here he is pictured next to the world's youngest croquet player. That's right, a 101-year-old man in New Zealand has been named the world's oldest croquet player. Well, just be careful which balls you're hitting. I'm a little worried about what's coming next. When asked today by the New York Post whether the U.S. and Iran could hold a second round of peace talks as soon as Friday, President Trump said in a text message, quote, "It's possible, President DJT." And it is very funny to give the most non-committal answer and also sign it President DJT. He might as well have said, "I'm the leader of the free world and I have no idea." How crazy is that? Hours after he said the U.S. military was raring to resume its bombing campaign, President Trump announced yesterday that he would extend the ceasefire with Iran. This guy gives out more mixed messages than a Los Angeles parking sign. President Trump said in a post yesterday on Truth Social that Iran is, quote, collapsing financially. Oh, they are? I had to split an Uber to work today with Fallon and Kelly Clarkson. And I'm the only one they won't let sing in the car. During an interview yesterday with CNBC, President Trump said that he is very careful walking up and down stairs because he knows that if he falls, it will be the biggest news story. Maybe, maybe not. Really depends on which stair. Donald Trump Jr.'s fiancée, Bettina Anderson, held a bridal shower last weekend at Mar-a-Lago, and the theme was Enchanted Garden, while the theme of Don Jr.'s bachelor party was getting our story straight. In a new interview, former RNC co-chair Lara Trump said that the last text message she received from President Trump was a video of a bombing that the White House put out, while the last text message Tiffany received was enjoy kindergarten. The New York Times has published a theory that the New York Mets are on a losing streak following a photo op between the team's mascots and Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Well, it wouldn't be the first time a photo with Mamdani has set off a losing streak. The Athletic recently published a list of the best things to eat this season at MLB stadiums, which include a chow mein burrito at Dodger Stadium, chicken and churros at Wrigley, and at Citi Field, a gun. That was 100% the accurate reaction to that joke. Ukrainian officials reportedly considering renaming the contested Donbas region that Russia is fighting for Donnyland after President Trump in order to get his attention. And for similar reasons, I'm thinking of changing the name of our show to Lorne Night with Seth Meyers. Maybe he'll watch that. The restaurant chain Red Lobster announced this week that it will offer its Endless Shrimp promotion, even though Endless Shrimp sounds less like a promotion and more like a curse by a witch. And finally, a Chinese car company recently filed a patent for an in-vehicle toilet. So what? In America, we have ones where the whole thing is the toilet. President Trump reposted a 2004 New York Times article yesterday on Truth Social about the high ratings for The Apprentice Season 1 finale. Okay, I get that he's a very old man, but why is his life flashing before my eyes? It's That's right. President Trump reposted a 2004 New York Times article on Truth Social about high ratings for his reality TV series, The Apprentice. Well, yeah, it was 2004. Back then, even this got a second season. President Trump was set to attend a private dinner today at the U.S. Institute of Peace, which he recently renamed after himself. That's right. He renamed dinner after himself. Please join me tonight for a very special Trump meal. President Trump was set to attend a private dinner at the U.S. Institute of Peace, which he recently renamed the Donald J. Trump United States Institute of Peace. All right, when is he going to stop naming stuff after himself? It never works out. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche signed an order today to reclassify marijuana and said the Justice Department is, quote, delivering on President Trump's promise to improve American health care. Yes, it's great news if your doctor is concerned that you're not getting enough cheese dust. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. pushed back this week against claims that President Trump has sidelined him because he thinks Kennedy is making him look bad. Yeah, if anything, he makes Trump look good. He looks like a catcher's mitt wished to be a real boy. According to a new study, salmon exposed to cocaine in the water can swim longer distances. In fact, they'll just keep going until they find an ATM. Oh, okay, I'll call the guy back. The Trump administration is reportedly in advanced talks to provide a rescue package for Spirit Airlines to help the carrier avoid liquidation, because if Spirit Airlines goes out of business, I lose like half my monologue. A toad rescue group in England has reported that this was the best year for mating toads since 2012. But don't tell that to Arnold. I don't know how I thought our toad joke would go. Looking at it now, I realize there's a pretty low ceiling on it. You know what I will say? I didn't expect you guys to have sympathy for Arnold. That was the one reaction I wasn't ready for. I thought you might like the joke, you might not like the joke. I didn't think all of you collectively, you'd be like, no, Arnold. You'll meet someone one day, Arnold. And finally, an upstate New York bakery has gained attention online after making a sword-shaped loaf of bread to celebrate the Buffalo Sabres hockey team. Oh, that's what that is? Thank God, I thought we were going to have to blur that for broadcast. Oh, and that makes it look even worse. Unblur it. That now it really looks... All right, never mind. That was a monologue, everybody.